Yo, what is going on, people? Welcome back to the AW show. Thank you for tuning in. I'm videoing today from Montreal. I was trying to go up Mount Royal, have a nice view in the background, but it did not work out. Let's just say that. Right now, I'm in the G80, Genesis G80. You make one banger video for Genesis, they keep throwing these cars at you. So I gotta say, I'm a fan. I'm more a sedan guy than an SUV guy to begin with. Last time I had the GV80. This time I'm in the G80. It feels like the exact same car from the cabin. You just sit in a little lower. Same Bang& Olufsen, or as I like to call it, Bang& Olufsen sound system, twin turbo V6. Having a good time, ripping around. Sorry about missing last week's episode, y'all. It was a hectic time. I just came back to Ontario for a couple weeks to I've got a bunch of shows. So I was like, yo, let's just have an Ontario summer. Let's head back. It's a little crazy in New York, which I just saw. They had some crazy flooding in the subway. Knock on wood, even though there's no wood in here. Perfect timing to get out of there. Feels good to be back in Canada, even though it's identical to how we left it. I've only been gone a couple months. I'm in Montreal right now. Man, I got to say, Montreal... I'm in a rich area, which I'm a little concerned about someone walking by. But to be honest, now that I've driven around trying to find the perfect shaded spot, it's only really the help and maids and au pairs or whatever you want to call it that are walking dogs. That's the only people around. It's funny, you could tell they're always like some sort of Asian or Filipino or Chinese or something. What is it about? And always women. Asian women seem to make the ideal maids. I don't know what it is. Do they corner the market? I'm not quite sure. Montreal, you tell me. All I know is I'm in a rich neighborhood with a microphone. At least I'm in the Genesis, So they'll give me the benefit of the doubt, right? So they're going to be like, at least if he was in a G70, we'd be calling the police immediately. But the Playboy's in a G80, so it could be something nice. Last week, I did an episode about Zoran Mamdani. Ever since 2 weeks ago, ever since he's still exploding online. You know this guy's going to win, for sure. The way he's just this social media. I need a social media guy to do my next tour. I'll tell you that, okay? That's a fact, because whatever they're doing it right. Every corner I go, he's the talk of the town. Even in the midst of them saying there's no Epstein list, still the talk of the town. And them losing the Epstein list, I love how everyone is surprised about it, and they're also demanding it. Like, give us the Epstein list now. We demand. As if the public has any sort of power. Unless you're planning on rioting or doing a mass protest. I mean, what do you expect? All the powerful people, all these rich Republican old white guys, that's the only people that was at the island. That's it. We've already established that once you hit billions in the higher echelons of wealth, you want to fuck below than 18. You go, fuck this 18-year-old thing. I have $1 billion. I don't play those games. I'm going to an island. My homie Epstein. And if you have a problem with the island, it sounds like you anti-Semitic. What, you got a problem with my homie Epstein's island? Sounds like you are against Jewish people. Anti-Semitism, cancel them. That's what I would say. Bro, that's the angle they should be playing. They're like, the very existence of a list is anti-Semitic, and naturally we destroyed it. In fact, there was no list at all. Yes. You see someone in the back. Good, yes. There was no list at all. This just in, the list never existed. Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison for no reason. Epstein did kill himself, and the footage for Epstein killing himself, they're like, specialists say that it was doctored and it was exported on Premiere Pro several times, like as if anyone is like, oh, wait, that footage of him just dying is doctored? Listen, we know it's a cover-up. It's just the problem in this age of technology, cover-ups are just looking sloppier and sloppier. I wish the Area 51, all that alien stuff, started happening now, There'd be like footage. Some guy would be like TikToking in Area 51, like, look at this gravitational fucking electron beam. It's like, yo, follow for more. You know what I mean? And then it'd be out. There's gravitational electron beams, because that nigga has it. His whole TikTok is the beam doing crazy shit, right? So on the good side, and look at Gaza, what's happening over there. That's been decades, decades. But the more that cell phones are ubiquitous in internet access, that's why Israel cuts off internet access. The first thing, get rid of communication, disarray. Don't let the world see what's happening here. And still, people are freaking showing. TikTok shows it all. Instagram blocks all that stuff. It's heart-wrenching. You can't even see it anymore. All I know is Netanyahu, that nigga going to hell for sure. To the point, imagine how amped the devil is when Netanyahu pulls up. He's like, what? He's here? Oh my God, Bibi's here? He starts like fixing his horns and stuff. He's like, bro, I'm a huge fan, bro. You're a beast, bro. Bro, you're the guy. Netanyahu's like, nah, man, like I had help, you know. No, bro, you're the guy. You're good, dude. You're fucking, even Hitler's a fan. You know, he don't even mind Jews anymore. He's done a lot of self-discovery and you know, just work on it. That's one of the good things about hell a lot of people don't talk about is you have a lot of time to work on yourselves. People go, fuck therapy, I'm gonna do when I'm in hell. I don't think anybody said that. I think I might be the first person to have said those words. But bro, the killing that's still happening over there, and it doesn't seem to end. Sudan's things not getting better. But I will say on the one positive that I'm beginning to see in the news is that all these African countries are beginning to reclaim their natural resources through legal processes or through military takeovers. But either way, I'm for it, baby. But the more they do this, the more you're gonna see countries beginning to actually invade, and their agenda is gonna. And again, in the world of the internet, it's a little bit more transparent what you're obviously doing. You're trying to rob people of resources, but like the way these billionaires, the diamond moguls, the gold, oil, all these people, they strip the country of the resources and they give them 5% of maybe 1% of revenue generated. We'll say you're making $40 billion a year off some mine. You're gonna give the country $1 or $2 billion. They got to get a taste in the bees, right? But Rwanda, I think it was, seized a mine because they were owed they were getting $1 billion a year, and they were owed a bunch of taxes and royalties and they don't even pay. They don't even pay the countries. That's the crazy part. They don't even respect proper payment terms because they're like, "What are you gonna do, Africa? What are you gonna do?" They seized that shit, and now I forget which country it was, but maybe Mali. But it went from 1 to 18 billion. They're like, sorry, peace. Now, obviously, they're going to try to come at them, world government, courts, and whatever. But if there's one thing we've learned, it's that the International Justice Court, or whatever it's called, doesn't really have power, specifically in tragedies. In the case of economic theft and whatever, these type of things, they may have more leeway because money drives everything. But like saying like Umar Bashir of Sudan, you've been charged with genocide in the International Court of Justice. That nigga's just out. All of these presidents that do that, they're out. Netanyahu, same thing. Like, they're not going to arrest these. Nothing's going to happen. But if you're telling them, we just took $17 billion a year of revenue, I think they're going to do something. To me, it's going to be like suddenly the country has weapons of mass destruction, or suddenly Mali needs democracy or something like that, right? They're like, but it is a democracy. It's like, well, you're anti-Semitic for suggesting otherwise. I'll see you in court. Crazy times. Crazy, crazy times. But I'm excited to see these African people regain. It seems like these decades coming are going to be very interesting, and they're going to differ from the path of history that we've been taking. It seems like it's been, for the most part, business as usual for the last 30, 40 years, as far as from a global point of view. The one thing is China's ramping up to become the superpower of the world, but it's the change point, right? Now that I have a kid, I'm thinking about this shit. I'm like, damn, is this guy even gonna work? What is a kid right now who's 1? what is their life? Let's say they finish high school. What is even high school? All that stuff is going to have to be changed. It's get from the inside out. Like, sure, we're going to have to learn math, deductive reasoning, all that shit. If you're trying to buy a gram, but they tell you that you can get an eighth for a little bit of a discount, how much are you saving if you don't get that? What is the opportunity cost of trying to get a quarter? Like, these type of things. Yes, people need to know this stuff. But jobs, it used to be fast food, man. That's the go-to teenager job to give them the experience, because every job requires job experience, except all these shitty menial jobs that are, reserved for teens and immigrants. But soon those are going to be automated to the point, like McDonald's doesn't need humans. It's just robots are too expensive. The robot hand that just does fucking Big Macs all day, I guess it's just not cost effective when you could have a motherfucker doing it for $15 an hour that could be trained just through general speech, right? In the future, not only are they going to be way cheaper, but they're going to have to learn, probably through AI means, they're going to have to, it's the teaching that's tough, right? So right now it's not just expensive, but it's also like, hey, if we want to change the recipe or anything, you got to bring in a specialist who goes like, okay, X's are going to update the Y, Y equals twice the lettuce because it's a new thing, versus just being like, all right, guys, for the new freaking AI burger, we're doubling the lettuce. And then everyone starts doubling the lettuce, right? Pretty simple. Not in the future, it will be like that. So then what does a kid do? The lawns will be mowed by little robots. I guess it'll be like the robots need to get oiled. So rather than have a robot that oils the robots, you have a teenager oil the robots. But with the, I don't know. But all I know is I'm going to put this kid in motherfucking coding as early as possible, yo. Because coding is one of those things. Coding and music. If there's one thing I learned in engineering school with all my smart-ass Chinese friends, music. Learn how to read music, violin, piano, something like that. Learn that shit. And coding. All of these are like, when introduced very early, I'm assuming science corroborates this theory, but it's like, it seems that it fortifies the brain, or at least primes the brain to learn things easier in the future. All these guys that I know that like did a bunch of music like with their Chinese parents, they're the smartest motherfuckers I knew. The math, just their mathematic acumen and like problem solving, it all came easier. So you got to put those kids in boot camp. They're freaking putting for loops and shit from a young age. Instead of crisscross applesauce, they're going to be like, Y equals X. If X equals Y, all I know is y'all niggas gonna die. Obviously, that's not it, but, the kids are going to have fun with it, right? So these are the thoughts I'm having. Right now, if you have a kid, we're still grandfathered in. Just like, I think it'll be some years before McDonald's and all that stuff is all robots. But is that the beginning of the end? Is that how they get us? When all fast food is automated, they have one human manager there, and all the food is automated, and slowly but surely the robots start to put like, poisons in there, maybe motor oil. Maybe it's a malfunction. Who knows? Is that how it starts? Because we always think it's going to be like a robot's going to arrive at your house like, please come out. You do not have a choice but to exit the home. And then like they just fucking put a bullet to your head. Or they take you to internment camps where you have to pedal on a bike to generate electricity to recharge them. And then it's just millions of humans pedaling. Right? That could be a thing. What is going to happen to us? I'm in a car in Montreal trying to figure this shit out. I don't know. On that note, pull up tonight at Montreal Improv. Catch your homie Jordan Palchicchio. It's pretty much sold out. There's some tickets left. If you want to pull up, pull up. And then tomorrow, Ottawa. And Friday, Ottawa. I got 3 shows. The first 2 are pretty much sold out. If you want to pull up to the Friday late show. That's always the litty show. People have been drinking all day, waiting for the show. It's usually the younger crowd. The 7:30 is like well-to-do. They want to be in bed by 10. It's Friday, so we'll be in bed by 10. That type of vibe. So it's a little bit more contained, professional, right? But that Friday 10 is litty, boy. I can't believe comedy clubs used to do like 7, 9, and 11. A lot of them drop the 11 just because it's tough to flip rooms for 3 shows like that, and one of those shows is gonna suffer. Just unless you have like unless you're the Comedy Cellar, where it doesn't matter what shows you add, it's gonna be packed. But the 11, man, imagine the 11 on a Friday. They worked all. People were up at 7 and 8, working all day, and then now it is 11 o'clock. They had dinner. They've been drinking for hours, just trying to stay awake for the show. How drunk and tired are they by that show? Those are the rowdiest shows. That's when people heckle, throw shit. Shit. People get pregnant after shows like that. If the comedian's lit enough, now I'm cutting on the edit for that. But I'm excited. Ottawa and DC. Someone asked me recently. They're like, "Yo, what are your favorite places to perform in the States?" It might be DC, Washington DC, and the same with Ottawa. The capitals of a country, they have a lot of money is put into them because they kind of are like the flagship of the country. So they make sure that people are pretty employed, unemployment is low, a lot of benefits, a lot of money is put into the buildings, landscaping, all that type of stuff. And there's like a vibe there. I don't know if it's they throw grant money at the arts. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but all I know is Ottawa and DC are amazing to perform at. People get it. I think a lot of people work in government or pseudo around that, so they're in like the most rigid, PC, politically correct kind of environments. So they look out for these kind of outlets where they could just laugh at fucked up shit and go to someone that is not tethered by the same confines. And so you could just laugh and it's okay. I can just be like, la la la, the doogie doo. Israel is evil. They're like, no, it's the government that's evil. And I'm like, yes, same thing. My whole life, all these old Sudani uncles are like, Israel is the problem. And everyone's like, yo, be quiet, bro. You're crazy, bro. And now every comment's like, oh shit. Every comment of anything online, someone is commenting, it was promised to them 4,000 years ago. Or 10 more billion to Israel, 14 more billion to Ukraine. And, you get it. These things are complicated. They're all like pseudo wars on other land. But I don't know. I don't know what is happening in the world anymore. I'm just one motherfucker driving around doing podcasts in cars, I will say this. It feels good to be back in Canada because I guess going to New York increased my demand out here or something like that. Don't know what it is, but tickets are moving a lot easier for me this time around than, let's say, last year on the Canada side. Again, you could attribute this to whatever theories I have, but in my mind, Canadians are like, oh, he's in New York, so he's like blah, blah, blah. So usually I have to pull teeth. I fill the shows out, but it's to the last second, like, come. For the first time in my career, people are actually getting them in advance. I'm having shows sell out before I get there. I've never had that. And I'm thankful for all those people that came out to BC shows and are coming out this week. Like, I've never had this, so it feels amazing almost 10 years in to finally get this stuff. Now I got to do the same thing on the state side. The state side is just like, it's like my Canada adventures like 2-3 years ago. Just lighter turnouts, pulling teeth. But, you got to marinate in the community and marinate in that scene before you get any sort of momentum. So I know there's really no rushing it, That's the one thing you learn in life. If there's really 2 things. One thing that I've absolutely learned that I keep learning is you get what you pay for. Anytime in life, I try to like cut a corner and like save a buck, I always get fucked. Always. And now I laugh because it happens rarely because I've kind of like, I've absorbed the lesson the hard way. But when I still try to do some cheap shit and it blows up in my face, I just laugh because I'm like, get what you pay for. Another lesson. I'm never going to stop learning this lesson. It's going to keep haunting me. And the other lesson is there's no shortcuts. You can't rush it. There's no replacement for time. Whatever you're trying to do. People like my buddies still like, bro, so you going to New York? Are you like, I talk to my friends. They all think it's like there's some sort of fit. He's like, you got to make a viral video, bro. I'm like, guy, I have made 100 that have gotten millions, It's not about virality. It's about like having growing a fan base off of like your essence, who you are, how you think, your voice, essentially, right? But these niggas, they all think they're like, nah, bro, you gotta go on the street, bro. Find someone that looks crazy and just be like, bro, homeless people. This man's not even homeless. And then, bro, you'll fill the rooms, bro. And what's wild is this does work for some people where one viral video. So how many people have had one viral video that has set the tone for their entire career? So many people. I mean, I can't name drop people right now just because I'm blanking on it, to be honest. But that it's fleeting. Unless you got the goods and you're ready to go, it's a temporary spike, right? So you really got to build it slowly and methodically, just through time, being yourself, doing your shit, hopefully releasing an episode a week, which I don't. And I'm sorry, guys. I told you, I'm in the middle of moving in New York. We're trying to find a cheaper place because I can't afford this place no more, man. The rent is killing a motherfucker. It is killing me, all right? Especially considering a lot of my income is coming from the Canada side. Switch it to American. Every time you have to switch Canadian to American to pay like rent, you kind of want to put a bullet in your head. It's like taking $1,000 and lighting it, at least $1,000 a month, and just lighting it on fire. Just lighting it on fire, saluting it as it burns to the last corner. It's a buzzkill and a half, man. But I will establish myself in the States. It's going to happen, Playboys. And on that note, I'm going to be in Philly on August 13th at the Philly Punchline. What? That's a legit club. Philadelphia. Pull up to that. And then I'm coming out to Tampa Bay for the first time. I've never been to Tampa. I'm doing 2 nights there in September. I think it's 12th to 13th or something. I'll show it on my website. But I'm excited for that. Apparently, someone was telling me there's mad Muslims in Tampa, which you never know where Muslims are, man. And I'm not to say that my whole audience is Muslim, but it's interesting. If I go there, at least I can have, some sort of like cultural basis, right? But I didn't know there was mad. They're like, yeah, bro, besides Dearborn, it's one of like the most. I was like, what? Tampa, Florida? Is it because like the weather is kind of similar to the Gulf or something? I'm not. Is it? I've never even been there. I don't know. Is it like Houston and like super humid? I'm not quite sure, but I'm excited to go out there. I'm excited to slowly start going around the U.S. and see some and touring to see the U.S. is so much better than just going, because touring you really open up your eyes and try to see the place. Whereas like if I'm on vacation in Tampa, I go on Google things you must see in Tampa. And then it's like, oh, you got to go to the Tampa Museum, the Tampa Raceway, the Fill-Along Casino, like that type of shit. But when you perform, you kind of like, you try to get a sense for the people. That's why I love hitting the mosque. Now, like I think I said this, as of recently, I go to the mosque, and this vehicle will be turned off automatically. And no, it won't. No, it shan't. You better not turn shit off. In 30 minutes? The countdown is saying the vehicle will be turned off in 30 minutes. I thought it was going to be like 3 minutes. That's wild. But I like to go to mosques in cities because you get a read of, first of all, the demographic of Muslims out there. I never would have realized Portland is like, the Portland Muslims are all black. Seattle's got the Arabs there and the Somalis. But it really gives you a sense of who's there. So, and I'm not even talking about Friday prayers. Just go to any random prayer. So that's been a dope thing. And I just like clicking in with the community, You go arm to arm. I was talking to my girl about this. You know what it is? It's the same. And I just watched Wu-Tang live, their final tour, the final chamber in Toronto a couple days ago. It was amazing, man. They nailed it, bro. They nailed it. It was an 8 p.m. show at Scotiabank Arena and full house. We're like, we'll go at 9. It'll be starting. 9:30 it starts. No opener. RZA comes out and just says some stuff, and then slowly, one by one, they come out, and they pretty much do the whole 36 chambers and some other stuff. And, yo, it was great. They did, I guess he came out at 9:15. They did an hour 45 tight. An hour and 45 minutes tight, and left at 11. Leave them wanting more. That's one of the best advice you ever get in show business. Leave them wanting more. I was really afraid that they were going to push it 3 hours, keep bringing out guest people and whatnot. No openers, no guests, just the meat. It was great. And they shared some dope words, this guy really is the head. Actually, they said Jizza when they form like Voltron. Jizza just happens to be the head. No, it was great to see. And congregation is my whole point. Whether it's religious, artistic, sport, tribal, spiritual, whatever you want to call it, coming together, that's the thing we want, especially when we create the same sound. That's why remember have you ever seen that video of what's his name from Queen, the lead singer? I want to say Steve McQueen. You know who I'm talking about. My brother. My AIDS homie, right? Rest in peace. Freddie Mercury, right? Yeah, Freddie Mercury. Bro, when he goes, ah, and they go, ah, it's like Wimbledon or something. Wimbledon, I guess, is like tennis, but it's a giant London, I forget what it's called, but it's got to be 100,000 people. He goes, whoa. They go, whoa. He goes, whoa, 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 whoa. They go, whoa, 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 whoa. And he goes, whoa. And like, whoa. And then he's like, yeah. That thing is not just fucking around. It's really putting people in one space. Really bringing the resonance you get from many people making the same sound has a crazy spiritual effect on you, yo. Now I realize that's the main thing I've always loved as a kid in the mosque is when you pray with a group, at one point after you read the opening Surah Al-Fatiha, which is like the opening story, everyone says amen, but they say it in Arabic, and they say it kind of like with a melody, like Ameen. So everyone, and the more people that are in the mosque, the more it resonates. So if you go to the Kaaba or you go to like Saudi, which I haven't been, I'll go. I can only imagine the power it hits there, where he's going, Ameen, and it's like thousands of people, and in that moment, you all just hit this vibration that like is godly. The more people are in it and are like saying or making the sound at once, the more godly it becomes. And despite all of Kanye West's craziness, that's one of the great points he made on that Rogan podcast that he did, which was very difficult to listen to because of his ranting and just being like, I'm a god. Can I get some water? A little coffee? Yeah. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, I'm a god. Like that was, difficult to hear, but he was talking about how healing it is to have 100,000 people. That's why, what's his name in Houston? Joel Osteen. That's why that shit works, yo. Because he knows how to bring a congregation together, and he knows how to make them repeat stuff. And I'm even going to try to include that into my actual comedy somehow. Whatever it is. When I say this, you say that. When I say this, you say that 3 times. They may not, it may just, there's a couple people that never get involved. That's how it is. The cool kids in the back, like, shit, I ain't saying that shit, motherfucking shit. I be getting bitches, nigga. Ooh. Rubbing their hands together like they're trying to start a fire. But it's just something about it, man. He was like saying 100,000 people singing hymn together. Hymn, man. Like, oh, God sent us. He brought us. Or whatever the fuck you say. 100,000 people hitting those notes, yo. People are going to be straight up healed of cancer when they leave that shit. I'm telling you, it hits a vibration where you're like, yo, this is what it is. This is the cornerstone of religion. This is why the churches, they sing together, the black churches. Muslims will do the Ameen. I don't know what they'd be doing in Catholic churches and these Protestant churches, but I'm assuming there's something where they say stuff together. There has to be, because that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing. And on that note, I'd like to talk to you all about Jesus, if you don't mind. This girl just came out of her place as I'm talking to you, and she's like super scared locking her place, and I don't even know what to make of it. They're like, oh shit, and then she relaxes because it's a G80. She's like, oh okay, it's a G80. But yeah, I gotta hit the gyms, and I'm preparing for the stuff tonight. Montreal, if you want to catch me tonight, I'm gonna release this and pull up if you can. Otherwise, wait a year because I'll be back, baby. You know I gotta come back here, especially in the summer, because it is nice. All the chicks got asses and shit here, because I think it's like there's a lot of hills. Everybody's got ass, man. Montreal, everybody got that bunda out here, you know. But catch me in Ottawa tomorrow and Friday. Waterloo, I'm coming out to Princess Cinema next week. Tickets are flying. I don't know why, but thank y'all for actually buying tickets in advance. And one thing, just in general, for any comedian, not just for me, get your tickets in advance. If you fuck with somebody, get your tickets in advance. It's nice for us to be able to book our flights, hotels, and everything and know there's already tickets bought rather than just being like, I hope that, you know what I mean? So support. Mentally, it takes a lot of load off our heads. So that's all I'm going to say. And then Philly, I'm going to come out. Toronto, August 22nd, 23rd. Comedy Bar, Danforth. 2 shows, babe. I'm excited for that. And more coming in the winter. I'm adding Alberta. I'm adding a bunch of U.S. dates with my guy Keith Pedro. We're going to tour together. It's going to be lit. But I'm going to let you go for now. Thank you all for tuning in. Until next time, peace.